You ever driven a big rig through a blizzard, halfway up a mountain with nothing but ice between your tires and a sheer drop? It's not exactly a day at the beach, folks. Winter driving in the mountains is a whole different beast, especially for those who make their living behind the wheel of a semi. We're talking about navigating treacherous roads, battling unpredictable weather, and hauling precious cargo when most folks wouldn't even consider leaving their driveways. It's a job that demands respect and that starts with respect for the road itself. That's why we're here today to talk about the essentials of winter driving safety for truckers. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these tips could make all the difference when it comes to getting you and your rig down the mountain in one piece. Before you even think about turning that key, you got to show your rig some love. We're talking about a thorough pre-trip inspection, and I'm not talking about a quick glance at the tires. First things first, tires. You need good, deep tread to grip the ice and snow. Check your tire pressure too. Cold weather can make it plummet faster than a lead balloon. And speaking of things that drop, make sure you've got a set of chains on board and you know how to use them. Next, let there be light. Visibility is your best friend in a whiteout, so check those headlights, tail lights, brake lights, the whole shebang. If it lights up, make sure it's working. And while you're at it, give those windshield wipers a once-over and top off that washer fluid. Now, under the hood. Check your fluids, belts, hoses, anything that could leave you stranded, and don't forget about you. Pack extra clothes, blankets, food, and water. Getting stuck in a blizzard is no picnic, and you need to be prepared to hunker down and wait it out if you have to. This isn't just about checking boxes, folks. It's about respect for your rig, for the road, and for your own safety. Take the time to do it right, and you'll be one step closer to conquering that mountain. So you've given your rig the once-over and she's ready to roll, but before you hit the gas, you got to check in with the boss. Mother Nature. That means checking the weather forecast, and not just a quick glance at your phone. Is there a blizzard brewing? Are the temperatures plummeting? Is there a chance of black ice? These are all things you need to know before you even think about turning that key. And don't just check the forecast for your destination, check the whole route. Weather can change in a heartbeat in the mountains, and you need to be prepared for anything. Know your alternate routes and be ready to change course if the weather turns sour. Check with the DOT, listen to those radio reports, and find out what you're in for. The bottom line is this: don't mess with Mother Nature, stay informed, and you just might make it through the storm. All right, you've prepped your rig, you've consulted the weather gods, and you're finally ready to hit the road. But hold your horses, cowboy. Driving in the winter mountains is a marathon, not a sprint. It's all about taking it slow, staying alert, and driving defensively. First things first, speed. Forget about that posted limit, it's just a suggestion in these conditions. You need to adjust your speed to the weather, the road, and your own comfort level. If it feels too fast, it probably is. Next up, following distance. You need at least double, maybe even triple that distance to give yourself enough time to react to anything. And speaking of reacting, let's talk about braking. Slamming on those air brakes on ice is a recipe for disaster. You need to brake early, brake gently, and brake often, and if you do start to skid, don't panic. Stay calm. Steer in the direction you want to go and let the rig find its grip again. Passing is another maneuver you want to avoid unless absolutely necessary. Only pass if you have a clear line of sight, plenty of space, and the road conditions allow it. The key to defensive driving is anticipation. You need to be thinking several steps ahead, constantly scanning the road for potential hazards. Remember, you're not just driving your rig, you're driving a potential battering ram. Treat it with respect and drive defensively. We've all been there, staring down a mountain pass that looks like it was sculpted from ice cream. But fear not, my friends, because with a little finesse and a whole lot of respect for those gears and brakes, you can tame this beast. Let's start with the brakes. Slamming on those air brakes can lock up your wheels, turning your rig into a multi-ton toboggan. So what's the trick? It's all about feathering those brakes. Apply gentle, consistent pressure. And if you do feel those wheels start to lock up, ease off the brakes just a touch and let them roll a bit before you apply pressure again. Now, let's talk gears. When you're heading downhill, gravity becomes your co-driver. That's why you got to downshift. Shifting into a lower gear before you start your descent lets your engine do some of the braking for you. Think of it like this. Your engine is a workhorse, raring to go. Give it something to do. Let it help you control your speed, keep those wheels turning, and prevent you from turning into a runaway train. Mastering your brakes and gears on these icy slopes is all about finding that sweet spot, that delicate balance between speed and control. It takes practice, it takes patience, and it takes a whole lot of respect for the power of those mountains. But once you've got it, you'll be navigating those downhill runs like a pro. Trouble usually shows up uninvited, especially when you're hauling a load through a blizzard. That's why being prepared is essential. We're talking about having a winter survival kit that would make a polar bear proud, packed and ready to go before you even leave the yard. First things first, warmth. Pack extra layers of clothing, hats, gloves, socks, the works. And don't forget a heavy-duty winter coat. Next up, food and water. Pack enough non-perishable food and water to last you at least 3 days. Think energy bars, trail mix, jerky, anything that will keep your belly full and your spirits up. Now let's talk about tools. A flashlight with extra batteries is a must-have, as is a basic toolkit. A shovel can also come in handy if you need to dig yourself out of a snowdrift, and a bag of sand or kitty litter can provide traction if you get stuck. And don't forget about communication. A fully charged cell phone is a lifeline, but it's also a good idea to have a backup plan, like a CB radio or a weather radio. Packing a winter survival kit isn't about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. It's about taking responsibility for your own safety and making sure you can handle whatever Mother Nature throws your way. Trouble usually shows up uninvited, especially when you're hauling a load through a blizzard. That's why being prepared is essential. So, you're cruising along, minding your own business when you hit that dreaded sign, chains required. But not you, my friend. You've got this. First things first, know your chains. Make sure you've got the right size for your tires and that they're in good working order. Find a safe spot to chain up. Lay out your chains, make sure they're not twisted, and drape them over your drive tires. Drive forward until the chains are snug. Connect the inside hooks, then the outside ones. Give them a good tug to make sure they're secure, then slowly drive forward a short distance to let them settle in place. Stop and retighten them as needed. Check your chains periodically throughout your drive. Chaining up might seem like a pain, but it's better than sliding down a mountainside. Practice chaining up on a nice sunny day so you're ready when the snow starts flying. Trucking is a grind. Long hours, tight deadlines, and winter weather can be a recipe for disaster. Fatigue chips away at your reaction time and judgment. Respect your limits. Listen to your body. Take real breaks, stay hydrated, and drive safe. We've covered a lot of ground today, from pre-trip inspections to chaining up, from defensive driving to fighting fatigue. But if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. Respect the road, respect the power of those mountains, respect the unpredictable nature of winter weather, and most importantly, respect your own limits. Winter mountain driving isn't for the faint of heart. It takes skill, it takes experience, and it takes a whole lot of grit. So, the next time you're climbing those icy peaks, remember these tips. Stay safe and keep on trucking. Your journey awaits.